It's not clear.
Okay.
They're not super
But I
good
can
at
walk
that.
up to their trailer.
You
right?
can, yeah. Jacob's really nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very good.
He's a good guy.
he's a rock star.
All right.
You got a lot of rock stars working in this county, Dave knows.
Yeah, we're recruiting. We're
Yeah.
Recruiting
we're
rock stars.
recruiting for EDA actually.
Must have experience playing rock and roll music
Yeah.
in
Otherwise,
front of large crowds.
That sounds like a good thing to write in.
yeah. Should be a requirement.
Well, this is the all of us, right?
This is it.
The most of the elements.
Are we ready to? Sue's not able to be here. Are we ready to start streaming?
Yep, you're all set.
Okay. Well, I'd like, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Grand Marais Public Library to order on May 25th at 5:03 p.m. I'm Dave Mills, the current board president. Go around and
I'm Kevin LeVore, I'm the vice president.
Sarah McManus, trustee.
And Olympia trustee. Uncle Gary, city representative.
Amanda St. John, library director.
Hi, everybody, I'm Mike. City
And also the
administrator.
AV lady.
okay, roll call and introduction is done. We'll move on
Done
to
and done.
consent agenda if we may. And is there anything someone wants to pull or talk about more, or else I'd entertain a motion?
I would make that motion.
We have a motion. Is there support?
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion and support. Any further discussion? Hearing or seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. No Jan today. So we'll move right on to our strategic planning discussion. Take it away, Mike.
It is time.
All right.
Finally.
We can't delay any longer.
You can, actually. You can delay a lot longer.
We probably shouldn't.
My understanding is you might be interested in actually having one refreshed, though.
Yeah.
So, this is a skill that we have in-house to run this meeting, if you are interested. I put together just a brief agenda to give you an idea of what it might look like, and maybe more importantly, how long it might take. So, in a half a day's time, with this group of people and perhaps a few others that we should talk about who you want that to be, we will go through some exercises. There'll be some individual work. There'll be some group discussions. There'll be a lot of ways for us to organize, categorize, and prioritize the things that you come up with. And we'll end up with a policy document that will help you communicate with the public about what it is that you think is important right now, and even more important, be a guiding document for your staff in terms of the choices they can make in the activities that they're going to be doing. So, any preconceived notions about what this is that I need to know about?
Oh, tedious and painful. Just kidding.
Yeah. If it's anything under than less than a 50,000 word document, then we've failed.
Get used to failure.
Okay.
I really like the draft agenda you sent out. I think that
Yeah.
was great.
I think that,
Would you be facilitating this, Mike?
I will.
Cool. Thank you.
And somebody else from City Hall may be there to assist as well, so that none of your library staff has to be too actively involved in the facilitating, and they can do the participating instead,
Cool.
right?
Right.
Well, who all else do we want to involve?
Yeah.
you want to have anybody from Friends of the Library to be a part of it?
I think it's a good idea.
Would it be good to maybe have someone from Grand Portage?
It's a good idea.
You want to think about viewpoints that are important to you, but also groups that consider themselves an important stakeholder, so that it's not a waste of their time to participate as well.
Right.
Both those ideas sound great, so
Yeah.
there could be a few others as well. Nice thing about your board is you've already got decent geographic representation, and you've got representation from both the city council and the county board, which are your, I would say, chief stakeholders.
Yep.
I think the list of invitees is up to you.
Mhm.
And I would keep it 15 or less people in the room is probably good. And so there's room for a few more ideas of people to invite. But you've got your group, and I'd say 2 or perhaps 3 library staff members,
Mhm.
and then 4 or 5 other stakeholders, and it would be a very useful group.
Yeah. Oh, there, ALS, the Arrowhead, yeah.
Yeah, maybe Karn would like to
Yeah.
be in there.
Would, local school or, Cook County Higher Ed?
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah, that would make sense. Arrowhead.
If we were going to do this in 3 settings, we'd start with a nice lengthy brainstorming of all your stakeholders, and then figure out which ones you want to invite to the table. We're not going to do that.
All right.
And I wanted to set the table for the whole process. Like,
Okay.
I think we're doing this in about 4 hours, which means it's not going to be a 50,000-page document.
No.
We want to keep this pretty simple. We want it to be easy to understand, fairly high level, and usable, achievable.
Yeah.
Hmm.
While you're noodling on that, the other important question I have is, when would you like to do it? And the particular day is important, but also just the day of the week and the time of the day for now would be good.
Mhm.
Do you know your schedules well enough to know when you're available to be in a place 4 hours together?
Gonna posit that maybe, I mean, I don't know how the rest of us are feeling, but I'm thinking maybe we should be looking months out rather than soon. Just thinking about trying to get everybody, especially if we want other stakeholders to also show up
Yeah.
and to be able to commit to 4 hours, then maybe we should be thinking more like fall rather than summer. Just putting that out there. But, I mean, if we have time, which it sounds like we do.
I don't have any schedule expectations on this, other than I think it's a good idea, and your old one is past its freshness date. So it's no longer of as much use as it was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you as a group haven't really had a chance to do something like this yet.
Mhm.
I think it's a good way for you to learn about and develop your role as a board.
Yeah.
Well said, yeah. I'm afraid fall is, harvest season and getting back to school, and that's also like a
Mhm.
busy time, so and we have, for good reason, rolled with the old one for a
Mhm.
while. I just feel like we could do this, it's 4 hours, we can send out a doodle poll and see
Yeah,
who we
oh
can
yeah,
get,
I
when we
mean,
can get, and, just aim for sooner rather than later, and if it turns into later, okay, but,
Is this the
and your
type of
suspicion
activity
might be right there.
but, doodle away, we'll find out.
for folks that have work schedules? Is
Yeah.
this something that you'd be willing and able to interrupt your regular work hours for? Yeah?
Yeah, it's possible to do that, no problem.
Maybe.
I just want to know if we're looking at a Saturday morning, or if we're looking at a Tuesday night, or if we're looking at regular working hours for,
I mean, I could do like a shorter day, if that would make it a weekday, like, maybe do like, cut a couple hours, so maybe get here at 3 and do like 3 to 7 or something like that. that might be something I could do anyway.
If we pick a time like that, we'll feed you.
Well, let's pick a time like that.
Yeah, we definitely
Yeah.
have.
Just for the,
I mean, if it crosses lunch or dinner, I think. The other thing is, this is dividable into two-hour sessions, if that
That's
makes
true.
more sense.
I'm
It could
very,
be a Tuesday and then the Thursday from 6 to 8, if we had to do it that way.
I'm very flexible, so whatever. It sounds like your schedule might be the most difficult to fit, so
It's not
what?
calling you difficult.
No, it's the schedule, you know, so.
Right, the schedule's.
We're not gonna make it personal, it's about the issue, right?
Right. Which is me. But okay. That's all right.
Yeah, so whatever, it sounds like kind of whatever, or, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
between the, Kevin's probably not too restricted in scheduling.
No, even if I got a regular thing on Monday mornings, I can do it differently.
All right, we will prepare a doodle poll. I think the help we need from you is if you have other ideas as stakeholders, feed them our way.
Mhm.
And we'll look at the not too near future first and see if we can pull this off in June or July.
Be awesome.
Would it be?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds great. And 3 o'clock-ish is kind of the ideal
Yeah,
and
I-
beyond, or,
Yeah, and beyond,
you
yes.
know, and
Would you
maybe,
prefer that over weekends?
I was just trying to think, like, getting people here, maybe a weekday might be easier than a weekend. Like,
think
people
so.
might be trying to get out of town or whatever. Yeah.
or staying out of town.
Right, exactly. I ain't going in there, no. No. Like, I was scared to come here today. I thought, what am I thinking? Coming all these blocks. It's terrible.
It's harder than it used to be.
It's true.
Well, everything is, right?
Who's building all those obstacles in your way?
Oh, I see, physically,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought maybe age-related physically.
What are you saying, Dave? Dave, what are you saying? How old are you now?
I was just asking.
Child man.
How about for your schedule, Sarah, like any,
With enough notice, I can be flexible about my days, so
Okay.
I can make it work for a day.
cool,
Yeah.
thank you, all right. Thank
We'll
you,
probably do it right here in this room.
perfect.
All right,
All right.
looking forward to it. Thanks,
you,
everybody.
Mike.
thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Mike.
Oh, we should invite Buddy. He's a stakeholder, that should be here.
Oh,
That'd be entertaining.
I don't know how many well, granted, I'm not always in the library, but I just don't know, how often is Buddy? Like, maybe that's
That's confidential
private, yeah.
information.
Yeah.
Sorry. He's just walking across the street.
Yeah, maybe I should just stay in the library. All right, thank you, Mike.
Have a good meeting.
Set up
Thank you.
camp.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me scroll back up awkwardly, and we're on to our, well, yeah, so I guess just to summarize that, if you've got some ideas, brainstorming, all and any would be great to send either Amanda's way or Mike's way for stakeholders, and cast the net wide is what I would hope for. And then we'll move on to old business, which is the rules of behavior policy. I'll pass the buck here to Amanda.
Come around. Fill all the chairs.
So we revised our rules of behavior policy, and I came back and needed to change a little bit of language. Illegal weapon left much to the imagination, and staff were not sure how they would actually enforce this thing. And there is a Minnesota definition for the word dangerous weapon, so we came to ask for that change. And then we had some more discussion around a section in here that was implying all of the bullet points in that section were illegal behavior, and maybe they were and maybe they weren't. So I'm bringing a revision to see how it works.
And I'm sorry, the two, the second and third bullet point are on the same language, the same issue.
Yeah, I suppose it would have helped if we had the original version in front of us too, but there were multiple lists of bullet points, and underneath one of them were, I've combined all of the bullet points in here now and changed the language to all of these being examples of disruptive and illegal behaviors rather than trying to sort everything out and decide what might be illegal or not.
Oh, yeah, right.
There's just one list, they're examples now, and there are definitions called out in their own section.
Yeah, I thought it looked a lot clearer.
Good, thanks.
I agree. Appreciate the refinement for sure. Being able, or having staff able to interpret it and have it be clear for both users and staff is really important, so. And us too.
I think if there's much area of ambiguity left, that the purpose statement at the beginning really covers what we're trying to achieve, is to create that welcoming and comfortable environment for everybody and making sure everybody feels safe to enter the library and use its services.
Any other questions or comments from anyone?
I'm trying to figure out where is the dangerous weapons rule or whatever in here. I'm not seeing it. I mean, I see that you decided.
That's the last sentence of the paragraph. That's what you're,
Which paragraph?
uh,
Oh, I see that, yeah.
on the bottom it says dangerous weapons that represent a safety hazard and are not permitted.
So first we have the definition of what we include to be a dangerous weapon,
Right.
and that they're not permitted in the library, period. But then later we have in the bullet points on the second page of bullet points, possessing, using, or displaying any object, including a dangerous weapon, to provoke, intimidate, or threaten others, is listed as an example of behavior that would not be acceptable.
Okay, I see that. And is the intent to then have posted on the door, no, is that already there, no weapons?
It's not already there.
Okay. All right, so then we will be posting that, and we're good with enforcing?
Do we need to post it?
That's
Do we
a
have
great
firearms
question.
not allowed?
We don't have that posted.
Okay, yeah, then we need to.
Do we really?
Well,
Do we have to
we should.
explicitly?
I-
Okay.
I mean, if you have a rule that, I don't know. I mean, we have a lot of people who have guns on them
Right.
all the time, and so, and maybe they're not going to be a problem, so it's not an issue, but, you know, you don't want to have, you know, a person come in and they have a weapon. You can see they have a weapon.
Oh, I see, sure,
And
yeah.
it's like, okay, well, what is that? Is this a rule violation or not?
Sure.
And their intention may not have been to disrupt in any way, but they've walked in and there they are.
Yep, yep,
I just think it'd be a courtesy, at least a courtesy, to have something that just says, you know,
yep, yep.
that's,
And so what's going to happen then is I will go and research this and or take action. But to give me a little bit of flexibility, if you look at, so a dangerous weapon, just a second here, is any firearm, loaded or unloaded, or any device designed as a weapon and capable of producing death or bodily harm. Possessing, using, or displaying a dangerous weapon to provoke or that is not permitted. Dangerous weapons represent safety hazard. And the library are not permitted. I was just wondering about the word possessing. If removing that solves the issue. Like if you're using it or you're displaying it in a way that's intending to provoke someone else.
Gotcha. Right on.
Well,
I think I hear what you're saying.
I think you're offering an alternative or a suggestion, but I think what I was hearing is that we want to display no
Okay.
firearms, but then I was just questioning, like, do we want to do that? Do we have to do that? Should we do that? And all that.
Well, I think in, like, the way I was conceiving of it, and is that if we're saying, but I think you do solve it there, because we do want people to feel welcome, even if in
I
their
see,
world
I
and in
see.
their values,
Yeah.
like having a gun on you is just a normal day-to-day thing.
Yeah.
We don't want, we just want to be able to, like, whatever, that's your thing, man, but as long as you're not using it and
Displaying
intimidating,
or-
or,
sure.
you know,
Yep.
you're doing all those other things,
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense to me. I mean, unless we're saying we do want to exclude
Mhm.
firearms from the library, which I also don't think is a bad idea. I mean, I think, you know, just up front, like, yeah, you can't bring them in here, man. Kind of makes it easier in some ways to just say, like, yeah, no dice. Sorry, it's just the rule.
Exceptions for law enforcement.
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
I can't just leave it outside.
Yeah, don't have them leaning up against.
Okay, can't just leave that gun alone. I'm gonna go inside. the
I'm gonna
library
go
for
in
a
there.
while.
You leave that gun there. We'll have a little gun locker out there for them. Good. I don't know.
We should maybe talk to MCIT about it and talk to City Hall about what the implications are of that. What is the board's leaning? What do you think? Is it simpler to just post no firearms, or?
And I don't know, I mean, I'm not saying there's a huge segment of the population, I just feel like we
Right.
have more than is normal.
Yeah, and I
Not
want
more
to
than that, but
respect.
more than
Yeah,
average, maybe.
yeah.
And I appreciated Anno's example at the last meeting about a Bowie knife or something. Like, a lot of people in the community
Yeah,
use and carry knives.
yeah. It's the same thing.
So
Do we exclude them from here, from City Hall?
that's what I was wondering.
I don't know. I'd like to. We've had some pretty interesting meetings. So. Not that would stop anybody, but, you know.
That's a good question.
Mhm. Okay.
So what are we thinking? In conclusion,
I think we should check with the city to see what their general for property, but I imagine that the county courthouse doesn't allow.
Right.
You know, I think, I mean, you have to go through a metal detector at times, so,
Only when court is in session,
okay, yeah.
but there's nothing posted.
I was just trying to think about that. Like, sometimes when
Oh.
there's stuff up, you just don't even see it, right? Because you're there all the time, and I can't think of any.
Oh, that's a good point.
Really, really curious. I'll ask about that too.
No, because, yeah, I was.
That'll add to the conversation.
The Congregational Church has a sign, no firearms.
Yeah.
There are other places around the city that do, but that's the one I know of. I would see it all the time.
Procedural question, do you have to have board approval for us to be in, or you as executive director can write this in, or this is already?
This needs to be approved to be adopted as it is. Right now, the version that you have was published in, I think, March, and then I came back in April to change the language. So the freshest one is in March, and the biggest glaring problem is that illegal weapons language versus dangerous weapons language. So you have a fairly fresh copy.
Okay.
And then you were saying that you would motion to verify with the city some of the things we've talked about. What does the city do? What is recommended? Could we, what does it look like to put a sticker on the door and then come back?
Yeah, I don't think we need
Yeah.
a motion, but yeah, we should ask for that.
Okay.
I think you just ask Mike what's the deal with City Hall, and I'll ask James about the county, and we'll get some
Okay.
Yeah.
info there, and then we can proceed. But as far as this policy is concerned, I like the idea of striking the possessing like you're suggesting
Yeah.
for the time being, and passing this, and then doing it again next time if need be, or whatever, if we need
Right.
to.
Do we do 2 readings? Is that the deal for that?
I don't
Nope,
think
we
so.
just do it once? Okay.
That's city code.
So,
But how does that how does that sit with people? Well, I guess we'll find out. I'm making a motion to.
To approve it with the 1 strike?
Right. yeah.
Okay. I would second that.
Okay. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Amanda.
mhm.
And that goes down to your report.
Yeah. So in terms of our facility, we are working with Amax Plumbing to get the spigot replaced. If you remember last year, the thing is not working correctly. It's been rebuilt a couple of times and it needs to be replaced. So that is on their agenda. They need to find a part and then schedule us in, but it's in progress. Our toilets were not flushing. You had to flush them 3 or several times to get the solid wastes to move. And this is a problem that's kind of been going on and degrading since late fall of last year. The city maintenance staff replaced parts. It didn't solve the problem. We've worked with a plumber who recommended G&G Septic, who recommended it truly was a plumbing issue. So we did have plumbers in this week and things are flushing, but I think we still have a couple of little parts to replace. So we're moving in the right direction. For grants, the Library Friends of Cook County granted us $1,060 to support the summer reading program, and that's going to cover the picnic that we do at the finale. It also covers the vouchers that we give to kids to take over to Drury Lane Books and choose a book of their choice if that's the prize that they would like. We have other prizes, of course. Erica has a great relationship with like Hungry Hippie Tacos and Dairy Queen and the Gunflint Mercantile. Are they our fudge people?
Yes.
Love the fudge people. And a few others that I can't quite remember right now, but yeah, really grateful for our grant from the Library Friends.
Mhm.
Cook County Pride happens the weekend of June 10th, but also the organizations throughout Cook County are holding their own events throughout the entire month and just keeping the celebration going. We are hosting a GLAD Awards movie night on June 16th at 7 p.m. I haven't selected the film yet. I'm still screening some options. And then we'll have a display in the library. Cook County Pride is also hosting Drag Queen Story Hour again, and they asked us for some support. We are working to help with book selections and also facilitating the actual story time with interactive engagement.
Do you know if Friends of the Library is involved in that conversation? With Jan?
They are aware that, how so? Let me say how so.
Okay. At our last planning meeting, I said I would get a hold of Jan, and I haven't yet.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering to possibly help support some of the giveaway books.
Awesome. Reach out, please.
Yep, I will do that. It's just like, oh yeah, I was supposed to do that.
They do have some preliminary information about the program happening again and what the funding might look like for that, so.
All right,
Yeah.
wonderful.
For staffing, our librarian one position is still open. We did conduct an interview recently, and we have a couple of more that we'll be looking to schedule. Also, our library clerk, Phil Oswald, has resigned to pursue new opportunities, and we have opened that position this week. Lots of school tours going on right now as we've got everybody coming down class group by class group and getting their tour of the library and their registration forms and things for our summer reading program.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't start until June 3rd, but we've already got about 41 registrations and applications, so that's excellent.
Yeah.
Good.
Any questions for me?
So that means with staffing, you're about 50 to 60 hours down a week.
Mm-hmm.
Is that putting any strain on you and the staff?
Yep.
I would imagine it would be.
Yeah. So I was talking at the last meeting about what it has been, what the effect of being down a 40-hour full-time employee has been, especially for the levels of programming, cataloging, everything that is not circulation. Our collection is not being maintained in terms of weeding, removing materials out and being pruned and cultivated. We're really just purchasing the bare minimum number of books. We're cataloging equally the bare minimum of books because we've got to be able to do all the labor going in, going out. Programming, like we have an awesome, powerful, robust, almost overwhelming summer reading program that Erica has lined up for us, and she's doing a great job knocking that out. I'd like to see more adult programming, but can't get to that. And also I'm going to be trying to focus on the budget. You will need to see that at the next meeting, a budget projection.
Mm-hmm.
So we're scraping by, and then as we have staff taking vacations, or Phil is with us through the end of this week, but as those desk shifts need to be covered, then Erica and I fill in that case.
Okay.
So we'll be doing less of what we're doing now.
Do you know offhand what the wage is for the library one and
Or the
part-time
range.
position?
I believe that the quote for, I believe that the rate for clerk is about 18 something, and I believe that the rate for a librarian one is 20 something. But that information is available on the city's website.
Thank you.
Yes.
And it's not our purview, but I was just trying to get the whole, more of the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions?
Hmm. Uh-uh.
Okay.
Thank you, Amanda. Scroll back up. We have our communications, the fund statements, and then the ALS strategic plan, which I went through kind of quickly. I think it's like the first 12 pages is the meat of it, and then there's appendix, and it's pretty helpful for us to go over as we're, developing our strategic plan as well. And we could even reference it. It'd be, I think, nice to be congruent, if possible, with our region's plan. But of course, we're
Yeah.
unique, and we want to have our own vision and all that too. But, and then I guess that's all. Wait a second. Hold the
Oh,
phone.
what?
No, that's all on our agenda. I just wanted to share conversation I had with an individual about going back to the Pride Festival, and just the conversation led to the request that we have like an ongoing website for all email communications by any of us for public information. I was like, well, that's an interesting idea. I don't know that it's viable or certainly isn't necessary, but if it's appropriate. But I said that I would share the idea with the board, though was also shared that it would be probably not well received. So, and the reason for that idea was there is a feeling, I guess, from this individual that there was a lot of behind the scenes like planning going on between board members. But
Okay.
But even the language that we used when we were talking about the event is what led to that impression. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. I could see how you could interpret it that way, but I assured them, like, no, we're not, there's none of that going on. We're very aware of open meeting law and following that. And then that led to the, well, how do I know? And it's like, well, I guess you're just gonna have to trust me. Well, if you had it all on a website, then I would
Yeah,
know. I was
no.
like, okay, well.
We're just following the open meeting law. We're not doing anything extra.
Right.
So they're talking about emails between each other, not every email that we receive from a concerned citizen.
Well, from their perspective, probably the more the merrier, but,
No.
Well, I would be happy to put some of the emails I have on
Well-
the public.
yeah, I was gonna say,
It probably would offend others,
Right.
you know,
If not
but no,
probably. I know the individual.
yeah, no, I think we're following open law, so I don't think we need to do anything further.
And in general, I don't feel like there's distrust in our community about us and our role, and, you know, I feel trusted and respected and confident and supported,
Yeah.
and you know, if I felt like we were losing significant trust, that's something I would think more about, and we certainly have for this individual. But at large, you know, I thought, this was a while ago, I mean, I've had a couple different conversations, so I've thought a fair amount about it, just trying to be sensitive to distrust, right? And feeling excluded if, sometimes if we're including some people, it feels like others feel like they're excluded then, and that's, I mean, the same is true if you have friends who are in a relationship and then break apart, and you know, whose side you know, if you give one
Whose birthday
person,
party do you go to?
see, like that
if you
kind
didn't
of
get that
thing.
invite and everybody else
these
did.
social nuances can bleed into political nuances too. But I wanted to share all that, and just so you're aware of it, and if there was anything you wanted to do to respond to it, which it sounds like no, we're going to stay with the open meeting law, which I would concur with too. The conversation also led around kind of the funding and financing of things, and that's much more of a city hall question, and so I made that clear, but that was part of the conversation too. Just wanted to report all that, so.
Yeah. And we did have discussions around this at the city council,
Oh, okay.
just in terms of the funding and where that came from. Maybe, were you there at that meeting? Because I think Ben brought that up. when
Oh,
we
yeah,
were-
yeah. But-
And we did talk about how that all shakes out.
Well, not to the level, okay, yes. Yeah.
Well,
And I'll
okay. I mean-
I'll reference that again, and just revisit that. But I don't think it was to the level that they were asking for, so. But again, not our purview as,
No, for sure.
as the Board of Trustees, but I just wanted to make you aware of the conversation happening still,
Yeah.
so.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Come to city council. We'll have a few chairs for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll pass that on. All right, well, motion to adjourn? Unless
So
there's
moved.
something else? Okay, we have a motion. Is there support?
Second.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Adjourned.
Thanks, Dave.